In this video I'm going to ask you, how do you measure your success? Do you measure in the amount of pips that you've made in a trade? Do you measure the monetary amount that you've made in a trade, or do you look at it in terms of percentages, in terms of what percentage you've made on that trade? So which one do you use? I'll give you some examples, points. Let's look at the trade I called this morning in my trading room and opened it up around about well, it was 27.22, that's correct. That was the entry. We had a 40 pip stop on it. Currently it's sitting up 100 pips, so 100 pips, that's fairly decent, it sounds. If you'd been trading and you 100 pips and you was taking, you could have been 10 grand up on that, maybe, depending on the size of your position size. $10,000 up. $10,000 sounds great for an Instagram account. 100 pips sounds quite good for an Instagram account, etc. But is it? The point is, does it make sense to be looking at the big sums which catch the headlines, or is it the return that you're actually doing on your risk that is the thing you should be looking at? I put it to you, my lord, that you should be looking at the latter. Should be looking at the risk. Now, personally, I used to just measure the amount of pips I made in a month. My sizing and everything else was pretty consistent. So I would look at the amount of points I'd made, and that satisfied my desire to look whether I was being quite successful or not. However, you could make in any particular trade, you could make a few hundred points, and on that trade you've made money, that's fine. So you've made, let's say, 500 points. However, if you had risked 250 points of that to make that 500, you've only got a return on your money of 2 to 1. Now all of a sudden it sounds a little bit less sexy, because 100, 10,000, all these big numbers, and then all of a sudden you've got 2.5 or 2 two times. It just doesn't sound quite so sexy. However, what I suggest is, when you're looking, and if you're looking at copiers and any systems or whatever else, look at the actual return on the money. So if you're looking at a trade like this one, for example, as I said, I had a 40 pip stop on it. It's moved about 100 pips. I have taken the part profit, because my first profit level was sitting round about the daily S1. So I had a profit level. I'll show you the daily S1 if you can. Here we go. So it's into that daily S1. So that was the first profit level. So it wasn't a great deal into that first profit level, but yes, it's been already selling off. Question, it had a nice flag sort of pattern, everything was looking good, and yes, it may go all the way and continue to the moon, to the bottom, wherever the bottom is, but that's irrelevant. But so I can measure the first half of the trade I took off. It was only a 1-to-1 risk reward. It did 40 pips. In pips terms, it sounds quite good, 40 pips, but it's irrelevant if I risked 40 pips. It's only a 1-to-1. The other thing is where we're sitting at, or where I'm sitting at the moment. It depends on if other people traded it with me. We're sitting there at around about 2.25. Look, I can show you. I'll just pop this little tool on. There we go. And it will show me the risk. So that was the risk, 40 pips risk, and this was the current price is sitting around this area. It may be actually dropping down a little bit better. There we go. So it's currently sitting at 2.32, the risk reward. So that's where it's sitting at the moment. It's got a risk reward of 2.32R basically. Percentage return on, if I was to close out at this moment, that's what it would be. So unfortunately it doesn't ring the bells of what a lot of people like in terms of money. It doesn't give you 1,000 pips. It doesn't really matter if I was to take 10 of these in a month, and if I'm risking more than I'm actually making, that doesn't come into play when you're just looking at bottom lines. Here I'm risking 1%, so I know on each trade I'm risking 1%. If I'm taking this trade, it's 1% risk. It's made me 2.32% on that trade. So when I put it to you that you, as I say, look at your trades, look at the points you've made, and then go back and look at how much risk and what was your overall risk and return. What were you getting in your trades? Now, this is only an example. It's a decent example to use because it's moved quite a decent way. If I was risking 20 points and made 50, it'd be the same result actually as it happens. So the number of points really doesn't matter. It's immaterial. Depending, it's the points versus the risk, depending on the risk. If I was risking 500 points to make 200 points, which some people would do because they don't want to be stopped out, then in that case I'd have an inverted risk reward. I'd only have like 0.6, whatever. So there we go, question for you and some food for thought. I would strongly recommend you look at your trading and add the percentages up over the month, as opposed to looking to look at the massive number of points, because it doesn't take into account the massive amount of risk some people are taking, or the rest, again, massive amount of pounds, whatever. It doesn't, for a lot of people, as I say, when you look at these Instagram accounts, they're absolutely showing the big numbers, big accounts that are held there, mostly demo money, so it doesn't really matter. They can have 100k demo accounts. You can open one up tomorrow. So whatever they're showing really doesn't matter. So what I'm suggesting is you don't get caught in the headlights. You look at the real risk and you look at the return using your risk and see how you're doing. That's it for me. One last thing, if you wanted to join, it's currently the 26th. We've got 3 more days in the room. So if you want to come in the trading room in the morning, there will be a link at the bottom. If you miss out on that and want to come in at a later date, just there'll be a form at the bottom. Just fill the form in and I'll put you on the next one. There you go. Have a great week, the rest of your week. If you want to come and join me, as I say, come and join me. Otherwise, I'll catch you soon. Bye for now.